All right, hi everybody. This is Lee and Jess, and we are going to do the sensory profile assessment today. We're going to do a little kind of mock skit on how you would administer it to a client, and then we're going to talk about our own experiences since we've been learning about it. So here it is.
Hi, Miss Lee. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good. I'm Jess, the occupational therapist. And today I'm going to do a sensory profile on Tyler. While I'm evaluating Tyler in the gym, all I'm going to get you to do is do this questionnaire for me. It's going to help me just understand how Tyler reacts to his environment and just how his behavior might be affected by that. The important things to know before we start is that there's a scale on here. And you're going to use that scale to answer the questions. The options for every item will be always, frequently, occasionally, seldom, or never. Does Tyler do that behavior? And just the important thing that I need you to remember is that I need you to answer every question. If you don't answer some, I won't be able to score it, so that's just very important. So to start, I'll write in Tyler's name and his birthday, and my discipline, so occupational therapy. And then I'll have you fill in the completed body blank and your relationship. Okay? If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be with Tyler in the gym and I can try to clarify anything for you.
All right, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so that is the end of our skit here. So basically, for the rest of this, I would be filling out this questionnaire here. All right, so a little bit about it. I actually did the sensory profile. It's called a caregiver questionnaire. So it's a really simple assessment in that the materials are pretty low. So if you're doing the written assessment, the client was going to get a caregiver questionnaire. And then as far as the clinician goes, they have a summary score sheet that they use after we complete the caregiver questionnaire. So I did it last night. I think, and actually in practice, they can send this home with people. You can also do the assessment online. They do have a sensory profile 2, which has a web-based version. So I feel like that's really nice. It's accessible to a lot of people, especially if you don't have time to go into the office and maybe you need to complete this at home. Like I needed to complete this at home because we're at school all day and I didn't have time. But it was really straightforward. It had very clear instructions of what I needed to do and how to answer the questions. And it just goes through different sensory factors. So they start with sensory processing. It goes through auditory, visual, vestibular, touch, and multisensory processing. Also an oral sensory. And the next factor is modulation. It talks about sensory processing related to endurance and tone, related to body position and movement, activity level, emotional responses, and the last factor would be behavior and emotional responses. It goes into social responses, behavioral outcomes of sensory processing, and items indicating thresholds for response. So it sounds like the words, I think the jargon could be a little tricky for some people, but for the most part, I feel like the questions that they ask underneath all of the the little grids of the different types of things, that's really straightforward, and all of the wording is very easy, I think, for a lot of people to understand. And it took me about 20 minutes, so I think the normal time is about 20 to 30 minutes for the caregiver to complete it. So now, Jess is going to talk about the experience as a clinician.
So as a clinician, it was very easy to administer. It's easy if you kind of know what you're going to say to the client, and just make sure that you reiterate that they have to fill out every portion of the questionnaire. And I also reviewed the manual to how to score the sensory profile, and it was very straightforward. When you look at the sections, There's a chart for each one.
We're gonna actually do a little close up here so y'all can see this a little bit better.
So there's a chart. So this is what Lee did. And so I went back and there's a number that correlates to each response. And then, so this was question 8 and it had an ear. So I matched that up with question 8 on here and I put the score. And then after that, you go through it and you'll fill it out and it's very easy. So we would complete this whole section by transferring the scores. And then down here, we'll take the total. So this was poor registration, and we would do the factor raw score, and we would move it down here to poor registration. And then it allows you to rank it. And
sorry, it's a little dark.
And then for the section summaries, that is from Lee's form, and I would just add that together. And what I didn't mention to Lee, and I should have, is that she does not have to, as the caregiver, tally this up. I do this on my own, and so the caregiver is only just going to fill out the chart with the checks. And then it's very easy to do this summary score sheet, as you can see what a blank one looks like. And I think the only thing to be careful is that when you're transferring the scores, that you don't make errors, that you double check your work, and that you really take your time doing it because you don't want to mess up a response.
Definitely agree with all of that. All right, so yeah, so that's it. Actually, I'm probably going to do the score sheet myself because, as we've talked about in class, you know, I have a lot of personal interest in this. It's a big reason why I picked this assessment. So I'll be able to do this and apply it directly to my own life. So that'll be really cool. So I'll keep everybody updated. And yeah, this is a really great assessment. It was a really good one to get started with. It's really user-friendly and not intimidating at all. So that's it.
Thank you.